Hello, welcome to today's AMA. My name is Robin Leonard. I'm the host. I'm joined today by a very special guest, Robert Lopez, who is the GM of brand, customer experience, and innovation at Norse Collective. Happy to have you on the show today, Robert.
Thanks so much for having me, Robin. Great to be here.
Great. Well, it's so awesome that you're here. Today we're live. So we're live streaming across Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, LinkedIn, who knows what else. So we're really coming at you live. We're in person in Sydney today. Today's an AMA. The purpose of an AMA, if you haven't come across it before, it's an Ask Me Anything, which was made famous on Reddit, where these threads would start and it would be, I'm a doctor, AMA, ask me anything. And these big threads would start where it was kind of a time box thing. It was live and people would ask them all sorts of interesting questions. So it's a really great way for, people like Robert, who is very much a thought leader in the industry, to be available to anyone to be asked questions. So please, if you're listening to this live, please submit your questions now. I can see we've already got a few queued up. So really excited about today. And anytime during this, if you just pop your question in, especially through LinkedIn is a great place, or YouTube comments, we'll see those come through live and we can pose those questions at Robert. Great. And is there anything we can't ask you today, Robert?
Well, tonight's lotto numbers. I probably can't help you with that one.
That's great. Awesome. All right. So have we got a first question coming through? All right. Oh, no, sorry. I'll start with my question first. So how was your Dreamforce experience? You've just come back from Dreamforce.
Yeah, returned recently for my first Dreamforce, and my Lord, what a whirlwind. People sort of give you a pre-warning and a preemptive sort of conversation before you head over there, but let me tell you, it is a full-on 3-day experience, and you really need a week off afterwards just to recover from it. But what a great networking opportunity and educational opportunity that was.
Fantastic. It's I've been to a number of Dreamforce. I didn't go this year, but next year I will be there right next to you, I hope. Great.
Definitely.
All right. We have a question here. Any tips for first timers at Dreamforce?
Yeah, look, there's lots of tips. Wear comfortable shoes. That's my first one. Listen to that one. 2 ears, listening with both. Wear comfortable shoes. Don't overcommit. When you build your agenda for the 3 days, try not to fit too much into one day, because you don't quite understand until you get there how big this thing really is, and how distanced a lot of the sessions are, and how long it'll take you to get between them. And the keynotes especially. If you're wanting to attend any of the keynote or guest speakers, make sure you get there early, probably 60 to 90 minutes worth of queuing for those ones, but plan your time effectively. And don't be scared to network. Network. Meet people, talk to people. I think I got 3 pages worth of new contacts from my time over at Dreamforce, and a lot of them I'm still regularly in touch with as well on a number of projects. So really good networking experience, and take a lot away. Bring stuff back with you. Bring stuff that your organization will benefit from.
Yeah, it's very, very good advice. And yes, the shoes thing is definitely something that's important. My lesson was don't wear new shoes, even if they look comfortable. So yeah, no, that's a very good one. Great. All right. Well, we've got another question related to Dreamforce. What were your top key takeaways from Dreamforce?
Yeah, I think the first one was back up your system. We've been very big on backing up our data here at Norse Collective, but I never really looked at system backup and our actual Salesforce instance that we've invested a lot of resources, money, and time into building. So it's really important to have a plan of attack to back up your actual Salesforce environment and ecosystem, because it took a lot of effort to build that out. So that was the first thing I brought back, and since then we've actually implemented a backup of our Salesforce system, which has been great. Another takeaway I had was around the sustainability piece. It was such a hot topic at this year's Dreamforce. So I think it's something that organizations really need to be focused on. It's a global topic, not just a local topic, and I think organizations need to be on the front foot with that one. Personalization from the marketing landscape, personalization was another really hot topic, and everybody's mouth over there. I presented 2 sessions on personalization over at Dreamforce this year, and it's just so important that companies have a strong sort of first-party data-led personalization strategy. So it was great to come back knowing that's the journey we're on and we've been on, and it was great to know that is really where we need to be. And then the whole CDP, so customer data platform discussion. We've built out a CRM in Salesforce, but there's a lot of talks now on CDP versus CRM and where that lies. And we've gone through that investigation piece for our organisation. But organisations need to understand the differences and really look at what works best for their data structure, their systems.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you for that, Robert. So I think we have another question here. So this is related to your project. How do you justify costs to stakeholders?
Yeah, it's an important question, that one. And I think you've got to be open and honest from the get-go. You can't go into this, thinking that, cutting corners, cutting costs is going to be an effective way to manage this project. You've got to be honest with yourself and honest with your stakeholders. You've really got to keep them on that journey with you the whole way through, celebrating the wins, but also making them aware of the challenges that you overcome. When it comes to the cost side of it, working closely with your partners is a big part of it, and closely with your Salesforce team as well. Making sure that you budget effectively, and I'm always in conversations with our CEO and our CFO, always talking about any project changes, any additions to the projects, any savings we make as well. The CFO always likes to hear about a saving. But for me, it's all about what results are we driving? How are we hitting our objectives through this spend, and what does the ROI look like? Which in marketing land can be a little tricky sometimes to really delve into the ROI. What's the return on your marketing spend? What's your return on your advertising spend? But you've got to really build some stringent rules and structures and objectives around your spend, so that you've got something tangible that you can deliver back to your key stakeholders.
Yeah, and maybe if I can just kind of drill in on this a little bit, because it's quite astounding how we've seen, a business like Norse Collective really adopt Salesforce. Can you just maybe go back a step? Tell us where are you up to in your Salesforce journey, just to set a bit of context?
Yeah, definitely. So we kicked off our sort of Salesforce-led digital transformation journey in January of 2018. And we started to build, long time ago now.
Yeah.
We started the build out in June of 2019 and turned the lights on in August of 2020. So we've got, Service Cloud acting as our CRM, we've got Marketing Cloud, and we've got Tableau CRM Analytics. So we've got this ecosystem, sort of like a really first-party data-led ecosystem. We've got a lot of integrations. A lot of our disparate siloed systems are integrated with our CRM, with Salesforce. And our current state is that we're really focused now on driving that ROI piece and really building out some robust reporting tools and systems that allow us to show the effectiveness of our implementation. We've got some future integrations still to do around the analytics and marketing space that are going to help build this single source of customer truth. But in terms of where we are now, we've integrated, we've been in place since August of 2020, and now we're really refining, retuning, and just continuing to build out reporting structures.
And just to extend on this, you're implementing across multiple businesses, right? So, and it's also the club structure, and I'm not sure if everyone's aware of it. A club is a business. It's a set of businesses within a business. So often a club is like a venue for events. It has ticketing, it has food and beverage, it has an element of gaming. It has sometimes a sports element, it has sometimes a gym element. Like there's all sorts of micro businesses within the club. And you've not only got that complexity, you've actually got multiple clubs within Norse Collective. It's a group of clubs.
Yeah, 100%. So we've currently got 7 clubs within Norse Collective, or 7 hospitality venues within Norse Collective, and 2 fitness centres. And we've got 2 more potential new venues that we'll be looking at onboarding. And it's growing at a rapid pace for Norse Collective. We onboarded 3 new hospitality venues in the last 10 months, which has been a full-on project. But to be honest, the scalability of that has been allowed from an IT and infrastructure perspective because of how we've built out our Salesforce instance. Because we planned effectively initially and built the structures out in such a way that when we were bringing in new venues, it was very easy to slot them into the ecosystem. A lot of templated work was done in the early days to really allow for that to take place moving forward. But you're right, it is multifaceted. You know, we've got over 60,000 members of Norse Collective, and you know, we really focus heavily on a personalization strategy and how we can ensure that we're remaining relevant to all of those members who might come and see us for different reasons, whether it's a gym visit, whether it's coming for a live show, a comedy night, a trivia night, whether they come for a meal with a family. We need to understand what their needs and wants are, and that's where we're really focused heavy on.
Yeah, because it's just that you've made such like everyone that knows Salesforce and has done any kind of project with Salesforce knows that having a CRM with a middleware platform and a marketing automation platform for multi-brands and multiple use cases, like everyone knows that's not a small feat. So I think, like, just going back to the question around justifying this, and you must have a lot of different stakeholders across these different clubs. How did you manage that? Like, just keeping everyone up to date and managing the people that were anti. I imagine there must be some people that were like not happy with Salesforce.
Yeah, there's always going to be those that don't like change. You know, one thing I said from the beginning to our CEO was, this journey is going to affect everybody, whether you're the CEO, whether you're a general manager of one of our venues, whether you're a reception team member. Everybody is going to be affected by this digital transformation journey. So it was important that from the get-go, we built, I guess you call them project groups, and we sort of started breaking up the overall digital transformation project into smaller sub-projects. And we got key advocates within each of those groups that then spoke with their team members and kept them on board and kept them understanding where the project was going, but what the objectives were. What was the final state going to look like? How was this going to, you know, in turn enhance our business operations, enhance our customer experience, and enhance their day-to-day work as well, and really keep them aboard all of the wins that we were going to achieve at the end of it. There's an end goal to this. Yes, there's a lot of work now, but there's an end goal down the track that we're going to be realizing, and we're realizing that now. That's where we're at, and really we don't have anybody that really, I guess, is against the change now, because they've seen the hard benefits of what we've done.
That's incredible. Oh, it's a good story, because it's, you know, you've got the Telstras and the ANZs of the world that, you know, they throw a lot of money at this technology transformation, but it's impressive to see an organization that's not necessarily got all of their money to be bold enough to make this investment. And, you know, the people making the investment are people. So you've got to, you know, that stakeholder justification is so critical. I'm hogging that question. I think we've got a bunch of others here. So next question. What were the key problems you were trying to solve by this digital strategy?
Yeah, I guess from the get-go, we set out 3 key objectives, and that was really what was going to underpin this entire digital transformation. The first was getting a 360-degree view of a customer. Now, as you mentioned before, multiple, you know, hospitality venues within our group, multiple systems, all of them quite siloed and disparate. So to be able to obtain a single view of a customer was very difficult. You have to dive into so many different systems, do a lot of merging and mapping. So the first real sort of problem we were trying to solve was, how do we get a single view of a customer, a single view of a member? The second objective we were trying to hit was, how do we get smarter with our data? You know, we're very data rich when it comes to demographical and transactional data. Members have membership cards, they swipe it at a point of sale. We know that Joe Smith purchased a burger at this time and this day. But how do we make sense of all this data? How do we bring it into a single centralized platform so that we can make smarter business decisions from this data? So our second objective was really bringing in an analytics tool that could allow us to use this centralized data. And then similar to that, our third objective was from a marketing lens. How do we create hyper-personalized omni-channel marketing journeys for our members using this centralized data? So really our three problems we were trying to solve were those around the view of a customer, improving our business analytics, getting smarter with our data, and getting stronger with a hyper-personalized omni-channel marketing approach.
Yeah, that's incredible. And because you've done that, you are now able to scale the business. And, as you mentioned, you've acquired new clubs and you're able to reuse the templated solution to do that. So it's actually enabling growth by having this platform.
Yeah, 100%. And we can grow it at such a rapid pace now. And that trajectory we've been on has been a very steep one with our digital transformation. And we've grown very quickly in a short period of time.
Yeah, it's interesting. And I think that is what limits businesses a lot of the time, is not being able to scale, because you've got people doing probably the needless work that a system could be doing. So now it's like the people internally, those people that were administering the club memberships, now they can probably be doing, like, let's scale and grow and support multiple clubs and being successful. And as everyone knows, clubs have had a very hard time during COVID, and it's great to see that Norse Collective are, through all of that drama, they're really growing and scaling, and Salesforce has been such a core part of that.
Yeah, definitely. It's allowed us to grow at that pace, really.
Yeah, it's great. But I mean, not everyone does it as well as you do. Like, it can be challenging. We've got some other questions here. Okay. How did you define a plan?
Yeah, thinking back a way now. I think in terms of planning, this was new to us. This was new to me. I was moving from a marketing comms manager role into the role that I'm in now. So this digital transformation piece, I was on this learning journey as well. So for us, it was about really, relying heavily on our partners and our Salesforce team to help us build out a plan of attack and an approach to our digital transformation. The stakeholders are internally for us, but they're also external stakeholders, like AF Digital. We've got our partner ecosystem, and we rely on our partners to give us advice and guidance when it comes to planning and getting a plan in action as well. So initially, we worked heavily with all of our partners as a group, because partner interdependencies is important too. They need to work together to build this ecosystem. And so we built out our plan and our sort of 3 and 4 year action plan out with our partners. And we worked heavily with them to get that plan onto paper and then into action.
Yeah, great. And I mean, you're constantly, it's not like one and done, right? It's like you've constantly got a plan and there's new things happening. Can you tell us a bit about what some of those things are?
Yeah, definitely. So, we're looking to launch our Norse Collective app. It's been a 2-year project built through Heroku. So it's integrated directly with our Salesforce CRM data. And it'll become another tool within Marketing Cloud. So we're building it out in Marketing Cloud as well. And I think, for us, as we move into 2023, we've just finalized our 2023 plan. It's a heavy focus on our app implementation, but also on our ROI project and building out this robust reporting structure, because we've got to start, really justifying spend. We've done it along the way, and we've built little reports along the way, but now it's about how do I, at a click of a button, have a look at what in the last month the ROI has been from our Salesforce instance.
Yeah, that's amazing. And can I just ask you, how do you think you're going to do that?
Yeah. I had a full head of hair before I started thinking about doing that. Yeah, look, again, working strongly with our partners, and we've started some conversations already. We've got Datarama within our marketing cloud ecosystem. We've got Tableau CRM Analytics, but really it's about using a full sort of closed loop view of a customer. We've got the data. We understand when we're communicating with our members. We understand when they're transacting with us. How do we connect the two? How do we look at it now and say, well, on this timeline, we actually in the last 4 days communicated twice with this member, and we got an extra visit from that member through the communication. So now it's about connecting Marketing Cloud with transactional data and actually looking at, communication going out. What is that doing from transactions coming in? And how are they interdependent, and how are we changing habit How are we getting one extra, dinner visit from a family a week or even a month than we were getting a year ago?
Yeah, exactly. Oh, that's very exciting. And so it's really your business is kind of, you've done the core foundations of Salesforce. Your next step is to actually release a mobile app, which, when you think about it, if I was part of the most awesome club, North's Collective, in Australia, I should have a mobile app. I should be able to go in and see what I've done, see my membership, use it to scan in and do those kind of things. Like, that's an obvious next step, but it's a bold and a scary thing to do, right? Like, going back to justifying this to stakeholders, like, we all know it needs to happen, but getting it done and making it work, it's a big thing. How did you do that?
Yeah, definitely. It's coming on to 2 years since we started that with our app partner, started that construction and development phase. And we made a decision initially not to rush it. That was the first thing. We thought, we can build an app and we can get it to market maybe in 6 months. But that would probably be more of just a regurgitation of our websites. And this app needed to be more than just our websites in an app. It has to have the smarts and capabilities to do a lot more than just display website information. So we spent 2 years and we've actually phased it out in 3 phases to make the work more palatable along the way as well. So we had 3 key phases and we're towards the back end of phase 3 now. And within those phases, we had key integrations taking place. So we worked through it during the, 5-6 month lockdown last year. We kept the app project going, which gave us some time to really work on those integrations. So I think for us, it was all about, getting it out in chunks, getting these phases established so that it was more palatable for key stakeholders internally, and then really understanding what we wanted to get out of the app. Because I can tell you now, the way the app looks right now is not the same way that it looked in January of last year when we got the first sort of framework done up. We've got 3 new venues since then. So the layout of venue logos is completely different because it's jumped in numbers. The look and feel and design has changed as we've grown in those 2 years as well, and features have changed too. So I think with the app, you've always got to plan that it's not going to look the same in 2 years as it does now. So build it out in such a way that will allow you to adapt and change and grow over time.
Yeah, that's great. I mean, it just shows a lot of tenacity to go through all of these big transformation programs. I think large businesses, small businesses, everyone struggles with these things, so actually getting through them is the hardest part, but there's so much value in doing them and leaning into them.
Yeah.
Great. Well, we've got another question from the audience. How did you choose your partners?
Yeah, it was like going on a dating show. It was a fun little process actually. It all starts with Salesforce, and they really want to learn and understand your business. Yeah, so that's the first thing. We went with Salesforce because they aligned with who we are, what we stand for. We're a community-focused organization, so our core values align very strongly with Salesforce. When they understood our business, they then put forward their recommended partners, and then we started working with those recommended partners to understand, well, who aligns most with our values and who truly understands our business, what we do, our customers, and what we stand for. Back in 2019, when we were going through this process, we landed on our core partner, we landed on our marketing cloud partner, AF Digital, and then down the track we landed on our app partner, yes, AFD. They've been there since day one. For us, it was all about really that alignment piece. Who aligns best with us and our organization and our values, and who truly understands what we do? Because, I'm sure there's partners out there that take on clients, but they never truly understand at the core what the client does, what the customer experience is. They just look at the technical side. Let's connect this system with this system and let's get them talking. Well, why? It's always the why that people struggle to answer. Why do we need these to talk? What's the outcome of this system talking to this system that's going to benefit the organization and the customer experience at the end of the day? So for us, it was really about understanding the values of our partners and how they understand and see our business and our customers.
Really awesome. Oh, that's great. And thank you for choosing us, and thank you for continuing to work with us. It's been a real pleasure, our partnership. And sometimes it can be hard, these things, but it makes it a lot easier when you've got enjoyable people to work with. So thank you.
Thank you to you and your team. It's great.
Great. All right, next question. How did you define and track objectives for the Salesforce investment?
Yeah, so obviously, I guess we broke this up into two sort of cost centers. We have what we call our WIP, or our construction costs, our true building costs. And then we have our ongoing sort of managed services, licensing and whatnot. So when we start talking about that initial cost, that build out cost, we really, again, worked in phases in our Salesforce build out, like we've done with the app. And we had key milestones and, kept all the stakeholders, CEO, CFO, board of directors, on track with those and understand if those dates shifted or changed. And the objectives that I laid out before, our 3 key objectives, underpinned everything. So all of our projects that we were doing, we always related them back to at least one or sometimes multiple objectives of those 3 objectives. So every project or every little project that we did along the way, every little integration, every build out, on our project plan, we brought in an objective. And we said, well, what objective is this going to try to achieve? And it could have been that full view of a customer. We're integrating our POS system because we want a full view of a customer. It's going to take 8 weeks. This is the investment it's going to require. This is the testing period, and we're going live on this date. As long as we could justify with tangible results, and then it was future. What's it going to give us in 1 year's time? Well, we're bringing on 3 venues in 10 months, which we didn't know about when we started this journey. We've got the ability, it took us about 2 weeks to onboard our last 2 venues because that POS integration was so rigid and strong through our middleware layer that we could just get that POS data integrated for our new venues very easily. So we always look ahead. There's the now, but there's also the then. What's going to happen then? What is this doing for us in the future? And that was a big part of all of our projects. We always look at what it's going to give us the ability to achieve down the track.
So that's really important to just break down what you said. So you have to look for the MVPs, like you have to chunk it up. And it's like you tackle any big thing, right? You chunk it up into the smallest possible parts and just try to get some quick wins. And I think it looks like you've taken that approach not only with the app, but also with Salesforce. Almost everything you're doing, you're chunking it up. You've got this bigger objective, and everything you do has to track back to that. Otherwise, why are we doing it? So that's really great, because I think that's probably the hardest thing with digital transformation is actually getting your head around the change and also being kind of aware of the reality of it. Like, Robert, you could have started and been like, I reckon we can get this all done in a year. Like you could have started and thought it was possible and then been disappointed, had the stakeholders disappointed, etc. But what you did is actually you probably slowed it down, if anything, and said, look, we've got to just take it easy, guys, get it right. And through that, you haven't made not that I've seen, any major mistakes or failures. And therefore, there's continued investment in the transformation, which is allowing the business to scale. So it all starts with just by chunking it up and making it easy for yourself.
Yeah, it's got to be realistic. There's no point trying to overpromise and underdeliver. It just doesn't work. So right from the get-go, when I sat down with our CEO Luke and went through this vision, the whole way through I was really pushing for the fact that this isn't a rush job. Mind you, it has happened quickly. I mean, we did start the building 2019 in June, and where we are now, people sort of look at it going, wow, that's just phenomenal. Add a pandemic in the middle of it all. And that was an interesting one, really, going through that and continuing the build out during that phase as well. But I was big on making sure that right from the beginning there was a realistic time frame and timeline given, and all stakeholders were across that. It's like the old joke. Did you hear about the digital transformation strategy project that came in on time and under budget? Neither have I. Nothing's perfect, and you can't sit there saying it's going to cost this exactly, and it's going to take exactly this amount of time, and it's going to just go smoothly, because it doesn't. It doesn't. But you overcome those because you've selected the right partners. Your Salesforce team is supporting you through these challenges, and you overcome these obstacles, or these change requests as well. We've had a few change requests because things have to be able to pivot. We've got to be agile in nature when you work on a project like this one.
And I think that those organizations that are struggling through their digital transformation, there is the silver lining is that as you do it and you overcome it, it gets easier. As what you alluded to before is like, it's now taking us 2 weeks to do a new club integration because we've already done it a million times and it works. So you actually get these kind of benefits of the hardness. I don't know if you even know what I'm talking about, Robert, but a lot of other organizations struggle through digital transformation. It's a nightmare. It's like, and you've got people coming and going and large organizations. It's very, it can be traumatic for the people that go through it. But, it's really good to see that you're just doing it. It's good vibes.
We're pushing through, and you don't know what you don't know. That's the truth. We rely on our partners because they know. AF Digital, no Salesforce, no Marketing Cloud. So we rely on that partner to help us achieve what we want to. We can go out and learn, and we continue to learn every day. Trailhead, trail mixes, all that stuff. But in the end, you've got the experts. They know what they do daily. So use them.
Oh, that's great. Excellent. All right. Next question. How did you deal with stakeholder change management?
Yes. Again, I think this really, right from the beginning, when we actually just started breaking ground with this project, I put together a vision. And this vision was our digital transformation vision. And I'll quickly read it out. It's not too long. It's to be a true leader in digital transformation using new, emerging, and sustainable technologies as a means to tell our story, build our brand, and enrich relationships within our communities. And I built that way back in 2019 because I knew I needed to start somewhere with a vision that I could take to the people, that I could take to our stakeholders, and take them on the journey right from the beginning, understanding what we were trying to achieve. So for me, it was about ensuring that our stakeholders were on this journey right from the beginning, were with us right from the beginning. Whilst initially there was definitely some challenges to overcome directly because we were changing systems. There was new systems to learn. There was going to be new technologies. It was about bringing in the right resources to help them get through that, to help our stakeholders better understand. So bringing in Salesforce, educators, building trail mixers in Trailhead, sending them on this educational path so they understood the platform and what it was going to do, what this change was going to mean for the organization and for them. So for me, it was about bringing them on this journey right from the beginning, taking them with us and making them feel like they're part of it, because everyone loves to feel part of something. We all want to feel, that's why we follow sports teams. We're part of it. We're in there. We want our team to win. And we wanted them to feel that as well. When we get a win, we're excited every day because we get wins every day with this project. My team love it because we're seeing great results. For them, we want them to be a part of it. So at our staff meetings, which happen monthly, we let them know results. We talk about where we're at. We let our new induction, all the new team members that join us once a month, we have an induction for team members across the group. And this vision is one of my slides. I read it out to them. I take them on this journey with us as if we were just starting. So for me, it really is about educating and keeping them on that journey with you.
That's amazing. And I think one thing that I want to point out to the audience is that Robert started his journey as the champion for Salesforce, and he is the champion, but it's probably at a level now where he's building a team of champions that are now kind of executing. And I don't know what that noise was, but yeah. So is that a fire alarm?
I don't know, possibly.
This is how live this is, ladies and
gentlemen.
We may have a live fire alarm in this.
You never know, you're lucky in a big town. So remember I said you're going to be able to pivot? I'm pivoting. I've got a feeling, but that was just a test, maybe.
Just a test, maybe.
If people start screaming around me, then I'll go running.
Yeah, so this is something that we see in successful clients that adopt Salesforce is they have a very strong champion. That person is they wear the Salesforce t-shirts, they live and breathe it, they make sure that it's like there's passion around it. And there's a marked difference. Like you have a company that doesn't have a champion assigned that cares about it, that is learning and, like passionate. And those companies really don't do well with Salesforce, because it's kind of like you're force feeding it down everyone's throat. Whereas if you have someone like Robert internally, Robert is crucial for the wider adoption of the teams, because he's the guy, he's the cheerleader, or whatever the best term is, but he's the guy going around to the individual users and saying, hey, have you got some problems? Talk to me. And he turns that opinion, that negativity, into a positive. That's the importance of the champion. And it's important that you need to have an exec person that cares and a champion that cares. And I think when you guys started out, Luke cared, who was the CEO, and you cared. And now it's like you're very much owning the strategy at an executive level. And you're now building a team of champions that care, and these guys are like incredible humans that are working with you.
Oh, very much so. Our team had to change. We had to grow with the system. It was me championing the thing the whole way through from the beginning, and then came to the realization that, we need more team members here because the system is big and we need to be able to get, a good ROI on it. So developed some key roles across the group. Our digital integration analytics specialist, Liam, I work very closely with daily, and he really is a champion for what we're doing. Catherine, who is our digital CRM specialist, very much in the marketing cloud space, really kicking some strong engagement goals there. So really it was about getting these fellow advocates out there and helping our team members across the line as well with their challenges.
And that's really great. And I think if anyone is playing the role of a champion in any organization, if you look at Robert, he's a really good role model for what a champion is. And we've actually got a question that's quite relevant. How do you be an awesome champion?
How do you be an awesome champion? There's an old saying that I got from one of my favorite TV personalities, Judge Judy. And that is, no, I thought the fire was going.
Attention, we are about to take the fire alarm. No attention, no action required.
They're about to test the fire alarm, no actions required.
Okay, great. We're good then.
They go off.
Attention, we are about to test the fire alarm. No action required.
Give me 1 sec.
No worries. So some live, at least it's not a real fire. That's the good news.
Yeah, I'm hoping it's not a real fire. That's true, actually. You're right. See, there's a positive thing out of everything.
A positive thing.
Yeah, I'm just going to tell my team member.
No worries. So guys, if you have any questions, now's the time. Please write them in the chat, and we'll for Robert to answer.
An incident has been detected in the building. Please prepare to evacuate and wait further instructions.
That's
just run down to see if we can stop. Oh, have they stopped it? Maybe they have.
At least you're safe at Norths.
Yes, exactly. So, got 2 ears and 1 mouth. Means you should listen twice as much as you speak.
That's getting serious.
Yeah. We've reached that level now.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm hoping that's the end of it.
Great.
So the whoop whoop. So the whoop whoop normally finalizes it.
Whoop, whoop.
For me, it's about listening, understanding if there is objections to certain things. What are those objections? Are they real objections? Do we need to take them on? Should it pivot the way we're doing a particular project? Is that something we didn't actually see ourselves? And it was good that this particular person brought it up. So for me, it was really about listening. But it's also
Attention, the test of the fire alarm is now complete. Please treat all further alarms as real.
There you go. So it's all complete. We should be done. So for me, there's a key word, and that's conviction. If you, as the champion, as the advocate, as the leader of this project, don't have conviction in what you're doing, then nobody else will believe you. So, one thing I always do is try to speak with conviction. When I was presenting at Dreamforce, I presented with conviction because I had belief in what I was presenting in and the results that I was putting forward. So as a champion, you have to have conviction in what you're saying.
And can you elaborate further on that? Conviction, how do you mean conviction in this context?
Yep. So for me, it's all about when you're talking about the journey, it's the why. You know, anyone can say, oh, we've integrated 7 systems and we've brought it into one single source of truth. But only when you have true conviction for that project can you actually wholeheartedly talk about the why. Why did we actually do this in the beginning? Why have we continued to build on that and continue to build a robust system? So when you start talking with conviction in your tone, in your mannerisms, in your voice, in your context, you really start talking more about the why as opposed to the what and the how. You know, they need to know about how we connected them. They need to know why we've connected these systems, why we've gone on this journey. So you talk with conviction when you really start talking about the why.
That's great. And yeah, that's really important, is the why. Like, the champion needs to know the why. Otherwise they are just putting in a system, and it could be any system. It's like, why did we choose this system? What is the future going to look like? You know, what is the benefit to the member at the end of the day, that you're going to get from this implementation? Because it's hard to see that at the start, right? Like, if you just started day one, it's hard to see where you'd be at now unless you'd had the vision or had seen it before in a different company. How did you know the why?
I think for me, it was about going all in from the beginning. You know, when Luke sat down with me and spoke about, you know, wanting to start looking at sort of digital transformation, it became my life for a little while, and I really put myself into it, and did a lot of investigation and a lot of education as well in that initial phase to truly understand the capabilities and where the sort of digital transformation space was going. You know, it was back then that really first-party data became the center point of our whole project. And now it's on everybody's, you know, agenda because of this whole privacy changes, iOS, Google privacy. So, you know, we're leaps and bounds ahead of that because it was at the core of what we were doing. And only through investigation back then did the data really stand out as the key to everything. So, you know, for me, it was about really getting in headfirst from the beginning and becoming immersed in it for that period, so that at least the why became evident early on for me. You know, the why for me really was, we have members, we want them engaged, we want to feel relevant to them, we need to use first-party data to do that. So the why for us was our members and our customer experience, and using first-party data the whole way through.
And you career-wise, your career, had you not come across Salesforce or technology innovation, where would your career have naturally gone?
Definitely the marketing communication space. You know, I was lucky back in the day when I was at university many moons ago. I made the call to do 2 degrees. I did a Bachelor of Business with a marketing major and a Bachelor of Computer Science. So I always had that techie, you know, wearing glasses, nerdy feel about me.
Yeah.
So I always had that behind me, but if we didn't really kick off this journey and I was never introduced to this world of Salesforce or you know, CRM land and the capabilities of Marketing Cloud, I would have more than likely stuck on that sort of CMO path.
Yeah, very interesting. Oh, that's great. It's really interesting to see how this has transformed your career, and you know, now it's hopefully going to be a very rich tapestry of a future career for you, you know, given this background.
Yeah.
Great. All right, we have a few more questions, and we're running a bit short on time. All right, next question. What keeps you up at night?
Yeah, definitely fire alarms in the middle of live webinars. 100% keeps me up at night now. I was asked this question over at Dreamforce on the stage, actually, and I think it's still the same thing. Uptime versus downtime. You know, we rely heavily on all of our systems working all the time. Our integration, our middleware layer constantly working, our POS system constantly, you know, dropping files where it needs to, and our membership system working through its API. So I think for me, it's always waiting for that email to come from one of our team members at a reception desk at one of our venues saying, you know, our membership forms aren't coming through, or this isn't working. And we've worked to mitigate a lot of those. We were getting a fair few, probably twice a month. We were getting emails with small issues. But we've learned from that, and we've pivoted and changed some things. And really, the last 3 months for us have been almost problem-free. So touch wood.
That's great.
Yeah.
Because once it becomes revenue dependent, that's when things change, and you need to start really like managing it correctly, right? How have you found that kind of shift from, when it was first starting and you were just using it initially, it probably wasn't so integral to anyone's job, but now it's a big part of everyone's job. How have you found that shift in terms of making sure that there's kind of governance and security and stuff like that?
Yeah. So I guess when we look at the system, phase one, we were just all about the build. Let's build, let's get it built, let's get it going. Now we've had to take a step back and we've had to look at the day-to-day use of the system, the security of the system, ethical personalization.
I've lost your audio.
Oh. Are we back? Oh, I've lost your audio now, Robin.
Oh, I'm back.
You're back? Am I back? Are we all here?
Yeah, we're good.
We're here.
I don't know what's going on.
Yes, I know.
Let's blame the fire alarm.
No.
So please continue.
Yeah. So at this stage, we're really now focused on security, data security. Ethical personalization is another key term that I've brought back with me from Dreamforce, and we're building our 4 pillars of ethical personalization now and into the new year. Because with the number of data breaches that go on, we're very lucky that we've partnered with Salesforce because trust is their first core value, and they trust customers like us with our data, and our customers, our members, trust us. So, and then when it comes to our team members as well, they want to feel secure in the system that they're using, and we've integrated with systems that have their own champions. We have a champion of the POS system. We've made a decision to integrate POS, so we've had to keep that person abreast of what we're doing. Our member system, another department managed that, so we've got to integrate our membership system. So we have to also make sure that all of our stakeholders understand the security in place and how we're protecting data as well. Yeah,
that's great. I love that term, ethical personalization. Yeah, it's so good because that is the thing. From a marketing perspective, you can spam a lot of people and not kind of use their data to personalize for them. If you use their data and really personalize for them in a way that helps them rather than hurts them, is the kind of, I think, the key. Can you just describe how you interpret that term?
Yeah, definitely. So for us, we're sort of building these 4 pillars, and we're talking a lot about transparency. So we're going to be, which we are now, we've got a privacy policy and collection of data, all of that, but we're going to really be super transparent about it, how we collect the data, how it's secure, but also developing trust with our members around their consent for using their data. So when you join up as a member, you join up on a digital form now, which is great, and our privacy policy is there, and members understand how we're collecting their data. But then we want to use that data to personalize their experience, because as you said, everybody hates being spammed. Does a 21-year-old, male member want to hear that we've got bingo at 10 a.m. on Wednesday? Probably not. So we're going to use data ethically to make sure that message doesn't go to that member. So we're going to understand a lot, and it's also about considering, someone's intent on their behavior, not just their attributes. So whilst I might have said, does an 18-year-old male or a 21-year-old male want to go to bingo at 10 a.m.? Probably not. Who knows? Maybe one does. And we have data on that, because if you've used your card to buy your bingo book and you're 21, you'll fall into a bingo category, and we'll let you know when bingo's on. So, you can't just rely on sort of attributes or demographical data. You've also got to rely on behavioral. That's why this robust, single source of truth for us is the key, because we're bringing in behavioral data as well.
Yeah, that's right. I like to think about it like if I'm a member of a club, and if I had a concierge that was like, knew everything about me, he's like, oh, welcome back, Robin, oh, how's your brother, how's your parents, how's your game the other day, like how, he just knows everything about you, and your experience when you go through that door and have that interaction is so much different than if it was just a blank, hi, I've never seen you before, but welcome anyway. It's just that difference. And I think with a platform like Salesforce, which is a customer engagement platform by nature, it allows you to scale that that concierge experience where it's like, I really know you, I care about you, I have information on you. I think the ethical side is being like, well, we do this, and this is how it works. And if you don't want us to do it, that's fine as well. Like, you can opt out, but just be aware that we're trying to make it better for you.
Yeah, 100%. And you've got to explain that as well. You've got to let people know. You know, customers these days, I'm sure I read the statistic, was 75% of customers expect you to know what they want.
Yeah.
So, and for us, it's probably even higher because they're a member. You know, they're not just going to buy a pair of jeans. They're a member of an organization. They've transacted to take up membership. So they probably expect us to know even more about their likes and their dislikes. So yeah, I think it's just an integral part of any membership organization.
And it's also breaking the curb as well, away from maybe the things that you like, we know make money. Like if you do a campaign on something that makes a lot of money, always, like, you're always going to do that to all the members. That was how we used to do marketing, because it gets money in the doors. But that's, you know, like, imagine if, say, that 21-year-old, imagine if he was more interested in networking with a group of other similar people. So it may be more, even though it doesn't make as much money, you would be marketing to him, hey, let's bring you in so we can have networking events with similar peers, or, you know, for example. But it's about, as you said, understanding the intent and then helping them with that. It's very interesting. Great. All right. Well, I think we have time for one more question. What tangible results have you seen from your Salesforce investment?
Yeah, I guess we're lucky because we saw almost instantly some great engagement results coming through. So, you know, I guess when we look at engagement, we've always spoken in marketing land around delivering the right message to the right customer at the right time through the right channel. And historically, as you sort of touched on, we would send out a blast message to every member. Here's what's happening in November. Since we brought in Marketing Cloud, we've really worked on this hyper-personalized approach whereby there may be 20 messages in that email, but each member may on average see 4 of those messages based on intent, behavioral and demographical data as well, and prior purchasing data. So since we've gone on that strategy, that sort of journey since August of 2020, we've seen email open rates grow from 21% to 60%. And that's phenomenal, almost triple. That's great, but I don't rely heavily on open rates. I'm more of a CTR, a click-through rate guy. That's where I see real engagement. And our email click-through rates have jumped from 1.4% to 11.3%. So we've gone up roughly 9 times click-through rates. And we're seeing that in Venue as well, because members are more engaged now than they've ever been. Our unsubscribe rates have gone from 1.4% to 0.4%. So a huge drop in unsubscribe rates, because members, the content they're being delivered is more relevant than ever to them. So from that perspective, we're seeing huge results. We've seen results, and again, Project ROI next year is going to be a big one to really understand how this digital transformation has returned on its investment back to the business. But we've seen some quick wins. The marketing team across the group, we're saving about 20 hours a month now just on marketing reporting, through automation of communications and automation of reporting. So that's just a direct wage save right there. And we're getting more efficiencies out of those team members in other areas. And we're a community-based organization. So the more engaged our members are, the more burgers and schnitzels they buy, the more we can give back to community. And that's true. That's at the core of everything we do. And our community support's grown around 13%. So this in turn is giving more back to our community.
That's incredible. It's such a great story to hear. So I think we're kind of rounding down on time. Maybe, is there anything you would like to leave the audience with as some kind of final tips or advice?
Yeah, I think, look, if you're looking at a digital transformation journey, don't be scared. Don't, get overwhelmed. It's definitely a challenge. I think, plan effectively, partner up effectively. Take all of your stakeholders on that journey with you. And then when you've implemented, don't be afraid to use it. Don't be afraid to use this new shiny whiz-bang tool because it's there to be used. It's there to help benefit the business. So all the work, the blood, sweat and tears, the time and efforts that's gone into it, the system deserves to be used to its full capacity. So definitely get in there and start using it.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much, Robert. Robert Lopez He's the General Manager of Customer Experience, Brand and Innovation at Norse Collective. He's also the president of the CMO Club Sydney chapter and an all-star Salesforce Ranger. So he's got over 1,500 badges on Trailhead, which is a huge number. I'm at 250, I think. So you're well ahead of me. So yeah, Robert's very much a legend. He's spoke at Dreamforce recently. So I really appreciate having you on the show and your sage advice. How can people reach out to you, Robert, if they want to contact you?
Yeah, look, I think LinkedIn is always the best way to do it. If you jump on LinkedIn and search out Robert Lopez, you'll probably see me there sitting and smiling. And yeah, or reach out to AF Digital, they can pass on my details. But definitely jump on LinkedIn, connect with me on LinkedIn. I'm more than happy to have a chat and make a connection with anybody, wherever you are in the world. Let's connect.
Awesome. Let's connect. Great. Well, thank you, Robert. Great to have you on. Have a great day.
Thanks, Robin. Thanks so much. Cheers.
Cheers.